discussing the large-scale structure of the cosmos, astronomers sometimes say that space is curved, or that the universe is finite but unbounded. Whatever are they talking about? Let's imagine that we are perfectly flat. I mean, absolutely flat. And that we live, appropriately enough, in a flat land. A land designed and named by Edwin Abbott, a Shakespearean scholar who lived in Victorian England. Everybody in flatland is, of course, exceptionally flat. We have squares, circles, triangles. We all scurry about. We can go into our houses and do our flat business. Now, we have width and length, but no height at all. Now, these little cutouts have some little height, but let's ignore that. Let's imagine that these are absolutely flat. That being the case, we know, us flatlanders, about left-right, and we know about forward-back, but we have never heard of up-down. Let us imagine that into flatland, hovering above it, comes a strange three-dimensional creature which, oddly enough, looks like an apple. And the three-dimensional creature sees an attractive, congenial-looking square, watches it enter its house, and decides in a gesture of interdimensional amity to say hello. Hello, says the three-dimensional creature. How are you? I am a visitor from the third dimension. Well, the poor square looks around his closed house, sees no one there, and what's more, has witnessed a greeting coming from his insides, a voice from within. He surely is getting a little worried about his sanity. The three-dimensional creature is unhappy about being considered a psychological aberration, and so he descends to actually enter flatland. Now, a three-dimensional creature exists in flatland only partially. Only a plane, a cross-section through him can be seen. So, when the three-dimensional creature first reaches flatland, it's only the points of contact which can be seen, and we'll represent that by stamping the apple in this ink pad and placing that image in flatland. And as the apple were to descend through, slither by flatland, we would progressively see higher and higher slices, which we can represent by the apple. So the square, as time goes on, sees a set of objects mysteriously appear from nowhere and inside a closed room and change their shape dramatically. His only conclusion could be that he's gone bonkers. Well, the apple might be a little annoyed at this conclusion, and so, not such a friendly gesture from dimension to dimension, makes a contact with the square from below and sends our flat creature fluttering and spinning above flatland. At first, the square has no idea what's happening. It's terribly confused, utterly outside his experience. But after a while, he comes to realize that he is seeing inside closed rooms in flatland. He is looking inside his fellow flat creatures. He is seeing flatland from a perspective no one has ever seen it before to his knowledge. Getting into another dimension provides as an incidental benefit a kind of X-ray vision. Now our flat creature slowly descends to the surface, and his friends rush up to see him. From their point of view, he has mysteriously appeared from nowhere. He hasn't walked from somewhere else. He's come from some other place. They say, for heaven's sake, what's happened to you? And the poor square has to say, well, I was in some other mystic dimension called up. And they will pat him on his side and comfort him, or else they'll ask, well, show us, where is that third dimension? Point to it. And the poor square will be unable to comply. But maybe more interesting is the other direction in dimensionality. What about the fourth dimension? Let's consider a cube. We can imagine a cube in the following way. You take a line segment and move it at right angles to itself in equal length. That makes a square. Move that square in equal length at right angles to itself, and you have a cube. Now, this cube, we understand, casts a shadow. And that shadow we recognize. It's, ordinarily drawn in third grade classrooms as two squares with their vertices connected. Now, if we look at the shadow of a three-dimensional object in two dimensions, we see that, in this case, not all the lines appear equal. Not all the angles are right angles. The three-dimensional object has not been perfectly represented in its projection in two dimensions, but that's part of the cost of losing a dimension in the projection. Now, let's take this three-dimensional cube and project it, carry it through a fourth physical dimension. Not that way, not that way, not that way, but at right angles to those three directions. I can't show you what direction that is, but imagine that there is a fourth physical dimension. In that case, we would generate a four-dimensional hypercube, which is also called a tesseract. I cannot show you a tesseract because I and you are trapped in three dimensions. But what I can show you is the shadow in three dimensions of a four-dimensional hypercube or tesseract. This is it. And you can see it's two nested cubes, all the vertices connected by lines. And now the real tesseract in four dimensions would have all the lines of equal length and all the angles right angles. That's not what we see here, but that's the penalty of projection. So, you see, while we cannot imagine the world of four dimensions, we can certainly think about it perfectly well. Now, imagine a universe just like Flatland, truly...
You've come to the most dangerous...
I don't even know what to say here. I was really hoping to that I don't know, what's his name again? Carl someone would come up with something. Carl Sagan, Fourth Dimension. I remember there's a video that I reacted to about Fourth Dimension, and it was actually done by someone who's like in high school, but a long time ago. All of these are very old. This one is 17 years old. This is a video, that is, and the other high school guy the video was 16 years old. So these people are trying to explain fourth dimension 16, 17 years ago. And again, the limitation of thinking in a physical form prevents them from seeing past what their physical eyes can see in this type of environment, because the environment is currently in 3D. Not only that, it has been low vibrational for a while, so things are not as 3D as they actually should be, in the essence of, as much as you're in 3D, you're able to see a two-dimension kind of a environment, right? Where you see your 180-degree kind of view. You don't see anything further than that. That is from 180 up until 360 degrees. That is, you don't see behind yourself. You only see as far as your eyes can swivel side to side, or your, is it pupil? No, is it pupils or eyeballs? Eyeballs. So essentially you're trying to explain something because you cannot imagine what it will look like because you've never really experienced it, and you're trying your best to do that in an environment, first of all, that doesn't, okay, not that it doesn't support you, because these guys are trying to discuss fourth dimension. And like I said in the other recording, my understanding of the fourth dimension, or any dimension in between the major dimensions, that is 3 being the major dimension, 5 being another major dimension, and I'm understanding that the next major dimension would be 8, not necessarily 7. I don't remember what was the reason for it, but it would be 8. Now, fourth dimension, my understanding when I was discussing it with the other video recording of this high school guy, I can't say it's a boy. His voice doesn't sound like a boy, and he's so intelligent. It just sounds like some very professional scientist somewhere. So I'll give him his props. But what essentially fourth dimension is that it's an enhanced type of a 3D dimension. It's like in the fourth dimension, you're able to see clearer, you're able to hear clearer, you're able to think even clearer. Why? Because fourth dimension essentially means that your environment's memory has been increased. You as a being, as a result of that increased memory or increased light, increased space for you to store more data, also allows the being in that environment or the program in that environment to have an opportunity to vibrate higher, that is, process even more data, process even more information, that is. So when you process more data and more information, what would have looked to you as just a blue chair, right? In the fourth dimension, when you've got space to vibrate even higher, your eyesight would show you a blue chair in such clarity, as in like they're showing me that you can even see fibers or some of the chair or something like that when I'm talking now. It's almost like saying that you would even go as be able to zoom in. They saying zoom in where you're standing to see the fiber of that blue chair, the material fiber of that blue chair. That is, your environment in the 4D allows you to enhance your vision, your thinking, your smell, your taste, like all your senses are enhanced. So if you could taste, oh, you know what, this stew is nice. In the 4D, you'll probably be able to distinctly taste the garlic in there, that, okay, I'm tasting a hint of this, but it would be much clearer. Today, there are people who already have that kind of palate, but in the 4D, you're probably going to taste it even far much more more, much more than you would. Like your taste buds are going to be much more improved. Therefore, you're going to have a different experience with food. Food is going to taste much better. Therefore, you're going to probably not cook. You're going to cook because of those enhancements. You're going to cook better, right? Possibly even eat healthier, because certain things that used to be okay for you to eat, you might not necessarily, when you're in the 3D, that is, for instance, food, taste enhancers and stuff like that, might not necessarily be necessary anymore, because you would probably be like, such a taste, your taste bud will be so enhanced that any extra things that is put into the food becomes a little bit of too much, overpowering in a way. So you would probably, that enhancements also brings things like, you probably could see better even in the dark, because there are people who, I could do that before. You could see better in the dark. You could be able to sit here, zoom into an environment, or zoom in into a chair, or zoom in into something that is further. Your vision is improved, your taste, your smell is improved. You could smell things. So what I'm getting is that that's information. That's essentially your body, your being, your vehicle, your physical vehicle is able to, it's enhanced in such a way that it's able to process more information, more data, therefore creating information for you. So it's able to go into a dish that you've cooked, pick up that there's garlic, there's this, and create such an information for you to taste all that combination of infused in the food as far much better, because now your information is more, it's richer. It's not like you're in a 3D environment where your palate is not enhanced as such, so you would have to put more salt to food, more garlic, more what. But in an environment where your taste buds are enhanced, you're probably just going to more or less end up eating much more the food that has been blended or cooked in a different way, and not necessarily a better way, but more like in a different way. You would most probably, your palate would be like, what, I don't like garlic, I never liked garlic in the 3D, but in the 4D environment where everything is enhanced, it's even worse. I just want a little bit of it. A hint of it should be fine. That's what the 4D is. It's not about a dimension in a sense of other views. It's a dimension in a sense of your dimension, your 3D dimension, right, is amplified in a sense of, that is like, it is still a dimension that is a deeper dimension of a 3D environment. It's like when you could see in a 3D, you're able to see, maybe, let me just give you an example. You're able to see something that is maybe 2 meters away. In the 4D, you could possibly zoom, let's say, you could possibly focus your eyes onto something that is 20 meters away, right? And bring it closer, like make it as if like it is actually in front of you. As in, like, you could zoom in your vision 20 meters away and see exactly what is written on something and all of that detail. Meaning now that your environment's frequency and space of information allows you to play with much more information than what you're playing with. This is why when you're in the 5D and you're not able to vibrate in the 5D type of environment that high, you get bent, because the information there is more. the energy is more. That is, if you're not able to vibrate high in the 5D, it's so bright that that light becomes blinding to you. In the 5D, it is so bright that the sound, the your hearing is something that is not loud. You would possibly you won't even hear. That's what I'm hearing. You won't even hear, because it's high vibration and you have to be able to tune into that frequency, but you are very, very, very low. So whatever smooth frequency that everybody else hears, that is, it has no noise. It's so clear, so peaceful. You won't be able to hear it. You become deaf when you're there. And if you're in a 5D environment, it's so high that your taste buds as well, you won't be able to taste things. You basically, your physical body cannot handle the amount of data, so it cannot process it. It's like taste buds. It's your taste buds are working at, I don't know, kilobits, and in the 5D, the taste buds, to be able to taste anything, you need to have your taste buds working in gigs, for instance. That's like that. Same thing as your vision, your hearing, and all of that. So the 4D is to kind of like prep you to get to the 5D, where that kind of information is still big, but your 4D would have helped you to allow you to manage to process the information that is vibrate high enough to be able to see further, to be able to taste better, to be able to hear well. All of that, clear hearing, clear vision, clear tasting, clear feeling of your body. You'll be able to sense something that is almost like coming towards you but not exactly near you. You'll be able to even sense emotions as well of the people around you much more clear. You know how today you can, people who are very much they call themselves, they think they are kind of like special that way, but it's not necessarily that they're special that way. It's just that they might be tuned in in that way. But in a 4D environment, that kind of functionality is afforded to almost everyone, where you can sense that, oh, something is coming behind me, or something is about to hit my head, and let me duck left. You could be in that way without even looking at it, like it's coming behind you, and you can sense that something is coming, it's headed towards me, let me duck, and you could duck. That's what I'm hearing. That's what 4D is. It's just what you have now. The view that you have, the vision that you have, the tasting that you have, the seeing that you have, the hearing that you have, but more enhanced in such a way that it is able to process clearer, more bigger data of tasting, smelling, hearing, feeling, whatnot. I'm hearing that it also enables you to be a little bit more intuitive. That is, when I'm talking about, you will be able to, not necessarily looking at your back, but you would sense something coming and be like, it's coming and it's coming on my right, let me duck to the left, kind of a thing. Where the 5D is the enhanced version now. The 5D is the major change. It's the major dimension that is completely adding a new functionality, not enhancing the functionality before, but adding a new functionality. And that functionality is what? Where you were able to see from 3D and 4D, where you were able to see from 0 degrees to 180 degrees, that is from left to your right, without turning your head 360 degrees. In the 5D, you'll be able to see while you're looking forward, while you're looking forward, you'll be able to have a perception of what's going on behind you. It will be as if like you've got eyes behind your back, but you don't. You just know. You just have this, your intuition is far much more heightened. You see with your intuition as well. Your 3D, what I'm getting is that your visions, other visions that are working now, will be working for you in the front, in the 180 degree, right? And your intuition will be working for you at the back, from 180 to 360 degrees. You won't have to have eyes at your back to see, but your intuition will make that same intuition that makes you duck the ball from behind is the same intuition that will be more enhanced in the 5D, where it will be like there's a ball at the back, or there's something coming at you, but it's actually a ball. It's coming fast. It's going to hit your head. It's going to hit your head right here, and you're going to duck, knowing and seeing it and seeing the environment where it's coming from, the whole environment that it's coming from, because of your intuition will be that much enhanced. This is why it's important for you to enhance your intuition. This is why it's important for you to train and learn your intuition. And this is how you're going to do it, by learning to align to the system, by learning to align to the universe itself, by learning to align to God. Because only when you do that kind of alignment with Father, with God, with your ancestors and all of that, when you open yourself to that, don't be fooled when people tell you I got spiritual gifts, I can talk to the spirit world, and all of you can, because the spirit world, the universe itself, you are installed in the same universe. You have the same type of interface, not the same, but you have an interface as well that it's linking you to the universe, meaning you're already connected to the universe. You're able to talk to the universe yourself. You don't need somebody else to talk to you, to talk for you with the universe. You can talk to the universe yourself. Your application has been installed, or your program has been installed in the same universe other person who calls themselves intuitive, or that calls themselves spiritually gifted, or whatever they say they are. You have your kind, and that's why it's important for you to learn what that was, because it's already there. You know it, but you need to be reminded what it was and how you used to use it, so that you can remember how to be intuitive, so that you can start vibrating and learning how to be so intuitive to the point where when the 4D and the 5D comes into play, you would be ready. You would be a being that is ready to see clearer, because you would have practiced your intuitiveness and whatever in this kind of environment, which is, yes, kind of low, but however, the more of us vibrate higher, the more it's going to be vibrating high as well. But you can vibrate high in a low environment. It's not the same thing as in the low vibration person in the high environment. In the high environment, the low vibration person has to vibrate high. Otherwise, they essentially get burned, right? But you in the high environment, a high vibrational being in the low vibrational environment is able to be, it's almost like you move to the 4D without the rest of us. Like you're going to enhance yourself, just you, even though the environment might not be supportive of. I'm hearing that the environment does not need to even be supportive of your stuff yet. It's just you will be already in there. So this is where people are being called to have superpowers or something like that. The same way you would think like someone who can talk to the ancestors, or someone who can be psychic, has some sort of a superpower. It's not a superpower. It was never meant to be a superpower per se. It was just meant for you are meant to discover how your one works. You are here to, perhaps you knew, but you are here for a different reason, right? Perhaps that kind of skill you've already discovered in your past life, that you're able to communicate in a certain way, you're able to read in a certain way, you're able to write in a certain way, whatever the thing that your program does, right? And you just here probably to ascend further in a different way, maybe in a much more enhanced way or something like that, or maybe you're here to discover what your limits are as a program. Like, for instance, how high can you vibrate in this environment, and what would that look like when you vibrate high? What type of functionalities that your program has would be able to be switched on just because of your vibrating higher. So in the same sense of that other video, 4D is essentially an enhancement of the 3D. It's just that it's a vibrational. Oh, okay. So what I'm getting is 4D is a frequency enhancement. 4D. 4D. I don't know what I'm hearing, but anyway, 4D is just the frequency enhancement. Okay, I'm getting that 4D we actually reach by vibrating higher, and the environment as well will start vibrating higher. Really, 4D is like a spiritually, the beings on the planet spiritually evolving. 4D is like the people and the environment itself aligning in such a way that they vibrate high enough and enhance their beings, their beingness, and then also enhance the environment. It's almost like 4D is what was meant for us to achieve in order for us to be ready for 5D. So in that way, if we didn't go the other way, when technology goes the other way and just went where the technology goes, that is vibrate higher, we would have found that we are more spiritually enhanced, more physically enhanced as well. That is, if we dropped the low vibrational behaviors and vibrated higher, evolved spiritually as a being yourself, but also as a people, as a group, and therefore as a planet, right? If we managed to do that, we would have had it easier to have to be upgraded to 5D. So we need to vibrate to the level of 4D in order for 5D not to impact us in a negative way. What I'm hearing is that 3D, 5D, and 8D are both vibration. Oh goodness, they are taking my throat. Are both vibrational enhancements, right? And also functionality enhancements. Whereas the 4D, the in-between ones, the 4D is just a increase of the vibration, enhancement of the increasing of the vibration. But the 5D comes with a new functionality where you can view 180 to 360 degrees as well as. So the in-between technologies or the in-between environments are bringing in just the enhancement. You're enhancing sometimes a functionality, but not a functionality that changes your environment so much so that it's more like it's a new functionality, but it's just also like meant to enhance something, right? But the 5D is bringing a completely new perspective, completely new dimensional perspective, as in like you will see differently. you will see, feel, do things differently than you were better, yes, but far much more than you were before, but in a way that is also, it's a complete change. It's a complete, your being is upgraded in such a way that it's not about your, it is a spiritual enhancement, right? And it also enhances your physicalness, isn't like where your functionality, where you couldn't create with your mind yet in the 3D, because the 3D doesn't support that. In the 5D, you'll be able to create with your mind. However, in order for you to get there, to even have a chance to do that in this 5D world, right, you need to learn, your programs need to learn to at least vibrate at high vibrational enough, a 4D kind of vibration, in order for you to enhance yourself, so that when the new upgrade comes through, you at least your vibration is high. All you need, because what I'm getting is that if your vibration is not high enough, when that new functionality, because in the 4D or 3D, it's all about that increase as well, right, in vibration. So if you don't increase your vibration, when the upgrade happens, you won't be able to download the new functionality because you don't have space for it. You're vibrating too low. This is why you burn, because of, it's almost like trying to, it's like an over, is it over circuits or something like that, where you're pushing too much energy, too much electricity into something. It's similar to that. It's like you're not made, you're not made for that kind of data, that much data, because the upgrade is coming with a bigger version of yourself, a bigger version of your upgrade, right? So if you're vibrating at a vibration that cannot handle that biggerness of that biggerness, that big version of yourself, the functionality that comes for everybody to be able to view 360 degrees. I mean, what they're saying is, right now, you probably, as a low vibrational being, have all kinds of physical issues. You probably can see well, can hear well, can, have all kinds of diseases and stuff like that, right? Because of your body cannot handle, it's too low vibrational, it cannot run efficiently. Now comes them with more data to try to put on top of you, right? Now the upgrade comes and tries to push this data inside of you, but you have no space for it. Your body's already failing, in a sense of, you cannot handle data because you've got too much of, you don't have enough space. And on top of that, you have a lot of things in there which are not supposed to be in there. You got a lot of energy that doesn't serve you. You got sicknesses which are most probably created from behaviors which are low vibrational, and they make you low vibrational, and they make the sicknesses thrive in that kind of environment. Now when something comes which is a data set that needs to be installed inside of you, and it's a bigger data set, you won't be able to handle that because of, you don't have space. You're filled with darkness and there's no light there. However, you need to vibrate higher so that there is light and space inside of you, so that when the upgrade happens, you're able to absorb the vibration and also absorb the data that vibration comes with. Therefore, your program is able to get upgraded easily without you being torn apart or burnt in this instance. It's almost like you are overloading the system. You are, this plug can only handle 12 volts, and there you are with your where there comes God with 48 volts and it's like, frying everything now. So 4D or fourth dimension, it's just an enhancement of the 3D, in a sense of it's a bandwidth enhancement. It's not it is still a dimension. It's like the dimension is like, in a sense of, you see further dimension. You see 3D further dimension. 4D is a further dimension than 3D. It's a further dimension. You see further. You hear further. You feel further. It's like more data, more information in the fourth dimension. It's not changing the functionality per se. That is, that block that they're talking about, the square that they're talking about, is still a square. Even if they're saying it's a square within a square, is in like a tesseract kind of a thing, it's still a square, right? But in the 5D, it would be a black square, it would be a white square in the front. On the side it would be red, on the one side it would be blue, and at the back it will be yellow. In the fifth dimension, you'll be able to tell all of that from that square. You'll be able to stand in front of the square where it's white, right, the front of it, and be able to say this left side is yellow, the right side is blue, and the back of the square is actually yellow. You won't need to move behind the square to see that it's yellow, and you won't even move to kind of like tilt to the side to see, oh yeah, it is red on this side, and tilt to the other side and be like, oh, if you imagine that square being bigger than you, right? It's bigger than you, it's standing in front of you, it's a wall. That wall, you'll be able to even see, let's say it's a wall, you'll be able to even see what's behind that wall. That's what fifth dimension is coming with. It's coming with far much more data and far much more dimension, going deeper dimension, in a sense of it's an enhanced vibration that allows you to see behind walls or through walls. And on top of that's a functionality that you're able to also see behind you, right? There's no wall between you. You're not your own wall, and the wall in front of you is not an issue. But the fourth dimension, you won't be able to see. Are you saying the fourth dimension in 180 degrees? You should be able to enhance your vision to see through a wall. Okay, I guess. But only 180 degrees. That is only in the front. Where else in the 5D, you have the 360 degree view of it, and be able to perceive what is in that building behind you. See it, everything. What is inside the building, not just what is outside the building, but what is also inside the building. That's the 5D. But I'm hearing that it is like a functionality where certain places may be blocked from you. It will depend on the access that you have. But most people are going to have access to everything. It's almost like in the other world, like where we were before. I feel like you shouldn't necessarily, it's not, what is it? It's not a good idea to peek into people's homes without them knowing. For instance, let's say you're at your home and you want to watch someone else's house. You don't need, these peeping Tom kind of people. They won't need, they might be thinking, oh yeah, good, I won't need to have a binoculars. I can just imagine, you can just go and watch they're saying things like that is only going to be if the person allows you to see. But I was able to, they're saying only certain people will have access to things like that, like a view of like that. But it's like, I'm hearing that it's only certain programs which will have access, full access to see. Like, I could see that. I could see what people were doing in their homes. I could see, and I could even see back. I could even see, I mean, like the past. What happened in the past, what's happening what is going to happen in the future, and what is happening currently. It's only specific programs and not many as well. I'm also getting that the way I'm seeing it is privacy is like a what I'm getting is that the way we operate in terms of how we view privacy is going to change. It's going to need to change because it's not about certain things which we deem taboo are not necessarily supposed to have been an issue. Like, for instance, people having, their nice time in there. However, it would be like perceived rude to do something like that. And I'm getting that people have an option of just sitting in their homes, blocking like that. They have an option to block like that. It's like almost like everybody would have that done privacy-wise. However, there would be programs which can break that, not break it, but allowed full access. And I'm getting that it's very few. I remember I could do that. But I remember I also didn't like doing it like that. I didn't like if I was in front of someone else's door, I would sense it right outside that, okay, there's something, the person is at home. But I wouldn't go and look inside the door, like look inside the house. It would be like I have to be invited first to look inside the house. However, if I'm working and maybe I'm sensing that I do need to look, let's say we are chasing someone, right? That's when I will be like, oh, okay, he's getting away, he's running away, he's getting out of the house on the other end. Someone go and, in that essence, I would be able to do that. But it wasn't like a thing where you just want to go in front of someone else's house and be like, I want to see what is happening in there. I guess it's only specific programs. What I remember is that antivirus could do it. Is it antivirus? Yeah, antivirus could also do it. But they could also do it, but they were not as quick and clear as me. It's like they would also have access, but mine is still more like I see everything because of my energy, and they see, but they also still need to like focus, and it shows them like I could go into the whole house, be able to see the whole house. They could possibly be able to see the person inside the house and just a little bit of their surrounding, and everything else blurs out. Everything else is blurred out around that person and where they are. But for me, I'm clear. I am clear. It's clear for me. I can see everything. And I remember I could even sense when someone was talking to this person telepathically. I could tell that he's talking to someone, but that person is not here. They're talking telepathically. And my partners would also pick it up, but then they would be like, they only pick it up when they focus. Father says they would need to develop that functionality in them, but mine was already developed by then. They also have, but they are not. I guess it's some of the things that they're going to have to learn here. It's almost like they just need to learn to enhance their vision, but they have access. When we were there in their homes, because they were like, Destiny, how do you do that? Like, how do you pick it up so quick? Like, mine was sharper. And Father says because of the energy, my energy allowed. It's the same thing as we're saying with the fourth dimension, where your vibration, your energy, your vibration and your energy enhances your what you see, how you hear, what you hear, all those things. The vibration that I carry and the energy that I carry enables me to be clear in my vision, my hearing and everything, in all my senses. That's why. But then these two also they have access, but they need to develop theirs to be that clear, that is vibrate and grow their energy in that way. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm hearing 4D is. It's a enhancement of frequency and space, memory, to handle more data and more information. It's not about a view. It's still the same dimension. Basically, what I'm understanding is that 4D is the same dimension as 3D, but further. So if you were able to see 2 meters away, in the 4D you're going to be able to see 6 meters away. If you were able to hear 2 meters away, in the 4D you're able to hear 6 meters away, something like that. The dimension is just deeper. It's still a dimension. The direction of the dimension is still similar. It's just that it's much more enhanced in the 4D. Whereas in the 5D, the dimension of the 5D is that it gives you another functionality of viewing, not just the 180 degree that is the front of you, but you also have the 380 to 360 degrees, which is the back of you. And it also is enhanced. It also is enhanced further than that 6 meters away. It's going to be far much more superior in the 5D. You see? Yeah. And when I bring it back to 4G, Father, 4G is the same thing. That is for fourth generation telecoms. Is that in the 4G, it's also an enhancement of the 3G and the 3G technology, it was just meant, it should have just been an increase in bandwidth. That is, this is where they started selling 110 gig, I think. Yeah, they started just selling 110 gigs and stuff. It's that. Before we were like, oh, 10 gig. Now 10 gig is like in one day gone. But then people, I think, even 500, I've seen a package of 500 gig, right? It's all about bandwidth when it comes to fourth generation. But then in this environment on Earth, they're calling that 500 gig a 5D. And they're saying, oh no, now I'm able to load audio and video. And I'm like, video, big videos and stuff. And I'm like, But you could do that even in the 3G. You just needed to have enough terra. And we used to just download it overnight. So now maybe it's faster, yeah. But that's just that. It's faster because it's more bandwidth. It's still more bandwidth. It's not a dimension. It's not that. It's not like when we moved from 2G to 3D where we could play videos. In 2G, I think we couldn't play videos. Yes, we couldn't play videos. We couldn't. We couldn't do videos. 3G, we could do videos. But then 4G, we still do videos, but perhaps faster, process faster. In 3G, we could talk. What is that? Video calling in 3G. And 4G, the same thing. But what about 5G? What has it really enhanced in such a way that are you able to see behind? This is why 5G is not 5G. Because essentially, if we're saying 5G, you're able to see at the back 360 degrees. It means that video that you're looking at, or the person that you're looking at on the screen, you're supposed to be seeing the back of them. You're supposed to be able to perceive the back of them. They're warning me not to go too far with it. Father, don't bring me these videos of 5Ds and 5G, because I'm gonna get into solution mode now. I'm enjoying it. I don't know why, but I hate the idea, but I also am enjoying. I'm just excited about it. Anyway, well, don't go too far with it. I remember that Father likes to stop me from going there. Okay. I felt it, eh? I felt him saying, don't go too far with it. And I was like, okay. All right. Yeah, we're not going to go too far with it. That's essentially that. So, okay. I'm getting that he's saying, because I'm like, I was thinking, Father is afraid that Uncle Oman maybe is going to steal whatever and then make it as if it's his own. But he's answering me is like he could never figure it out. That's what I thought as well. I thought that when I heard it 5D, I was like, I don't see any 5G. I was like, I don't see any change here. It's just the bandwidth increased. There's no change. What is the change here? What are we doing with this 5G? And I really don't get it. I really don't get it. I never got it. I just saw it and I was like, they missed something. Something is missing here. They just increased the data. The bandwidth. They just increased the bandwidth and increased the I guess from 100 gig, which was a 4G thing, to now I think it's 500. They have a limit of 500 gigs and stuff. I think I did see, or was it 50? No, man, they're selling 300 gigs and 500 gigs these days. That's all they did. They're just selling you bigger bandwidth, but um, the question is, okay, okay, all right, all right. I'm finished with this topic. Okay, I'm finished with this topic. I cannot continue with it, unfortunately. Uh, I hope this is the last video, though. I don't want to be discussing this as well because I'm gonna start going in there. But who's this person? Carl Slogan or Carl who? Some Carl guy, right? So yeah, maybe father wanted. It's interesting that they were all saying the same thing, trying to explain it in the same way. Both of them, they were saying that it's about the dimension. They're all talking about Tesseract, and I'm like, okay. I don't know what the Tesseract is, and I'm not even going to go into detail with that. I don't really have. Maybe it is right. I don't know. But I'm guided here by spirit. I don't have time to go. The Tesseract, I think I heard about it somewhere in a movie or something like that. Yeah, thank you for movies. Oh, yeah. What? The what? Is it Marvel movies or something? Something like that. Anyway. Anything else, Spirit? These are odd ones, hey? I don't remember writing them down. These are just my reactions. Alright. So is there anything else that I'm missing before fourth dimension? Alright, I'll try not to go into that. Alright. Okay. I think that's it. Thank you, Spirit.